You know, in the hotel world, there's a world of difference between just selling a single room and landing a massive $1 million contract. Today, we're going to dive deep into that high-stakes, high-reward world of corporate and MICE sales, and I'm going to show you exactly how the top pros get it done.
Hello and welcome. I'll be your guide for this module. You can think of me as your personal AI expert, here to really break down the strategies that take hotel salespeople and turn them into true industry leaders. We're going to unpack the skills that will absolutely help you grow your career in hospitality, so let's get right to it.
All right, so how do we master this? Well, we're going to follow a pretty clear 5-part game plan. First up, we'll get inside the mind of the corporate and MICE client. Then, we'll talk about what I call the core currency of this business, and that's relationships. From there, we'll dissect the anatomy of the sale itself. Next, we'll focus on how to actually secure the partnership. And finally, we'll wrap up with the big picture: strategy, data, and patience. Ready? Let's jump in. Okay, first things first. It all starts right here, and it begins with a simple but really powerful idea. You are not selling rooms, you're selling solutions. Seriously, the moment you truly grasp your client's business need, you've already taken the most important step towards a real partnership. So why should you care about this? Simple. Because mastering this is your fast track to leadership. The people who get corporate sales right, they're the ones bringing in the biggest revenue for the hotel. They're the ones who get noticed, the ones who get promoted, and the ones who quickly find themselves in senior commercial roles. It's a huge deal.
Look, to succeed, you've got to know exactly who you're talking to. And in this space, there are two very different types of clients. On one side, you have the corporate buyer. Their world revolves around efficiency. They want seamless booking, consistent quality, and all those business essentials like rock-solid internet and express check-in. But then, on the other side, you've got the MICE client. That's meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. For them, it's all about the success of their event. They're looking for flexible layouts, modern AV gear, great catering, and knowing there's a reliable team on site. Understanding this difference is absolutely key to tailoring your pitch.
Okay, so you understand what your client needs. Now what? How do you actually earn their business? It's not just about having the best meeting rooms or the fastest Wi-Fi. It's about earning their trust. In this corner of the industry, trust and the relationships built on it is your most valuable currency. Period.
This quote right here really says it all. Successful corporate salespeople act not as vendors, but as long-term partners to their clients. You see that shift? It's everything. You have to stop thinking of yourself as just a vendor and start acting like a partner. A vendor just answers an email. A partner anticipates what the client needs before they even ask. That single mindset shift, it's the foundation of every single profitable, long-term corporate account.
So how do you actually build that partnership? Well, it's all about being proactive and consistent. It means you're out there at industry trade shows, shaking hands and making new connections. It means you're hosting what we call FAM trips, familiarization trips, to really showcase your property and let clients experience it for themselves. You're making regular sales calls just to maintain that rapport. And you're meeting face-to-face with travel agents and key account holders. This is the real work, the legwork that turns a name on a business card into a trusted partner.
All right, we've talked about relationships. Now let's get into the mechanics of the sale itself. We're going to break down the whole process, from that first data-driven pitch right up to the critical moment of the site inspection.
So, at the heart of this entire segment is something called contracted business. And let's be clear, we are not talking about one-off bookings here. These are major, long-term volume agreements with companies. They agree to a certain amount of business, and in return, you secure discounted rates and room blocks for them. But make no mistake, these deals are built on data, on the value you provide, and on the long-term potential of the partnership.
And here's a really crucial piece of advice. If you find yourself competing only on price, you've already lost the strategic game. Your goal is to sell a solution. You need to demonstrate real value. Show them how your hotel's location saves their team commute time. Show them how your business amenities will actually increase their productivity. Show them how your incredible service guarantees them peace of mind. That's how you sell long-term value.
Okay, so this brings us to a huge moment in the sales process. After all the calls, all the emails, all the proposals, the client wants to see the property for themselves, the site inspection. So is this the make or break moment, the point where the deal is won or lost?
Oh, absolutely. The site inspection is your stage, and you get exactly one chance to perform. Your preparation has to be meticulous. every single corner of the property must be spotless. Every staff member the client meets has to be a perfect ambassador for your brand, friendly and professional. It's about a flawless presentation that reflects the very best of what your hotel is. This isn't just a tour. It's often the single deciding factor that gets that contract signed.
So, you've nailed the site inspection. Great. Now the focus shifts to formalizing the offer and keeping that momentum going. And this is where your communication skills are absolutely critical to lock in that partnership.
So what does a winning proposal actually look like? Well, it's way more than just a price list. It has to be clear, professional, and personalized directly to that client's objectives. It's got to be solution-driven, highlighting your unique selling points. You need to outline all your facilities and rates, of course, but most importantly, it has to clearly show why you are a better choice than the competition.
And listen, once that proposal is sent, your job is not done. It is honestly shocking how many potential deals are lost right at this stage. Why? A simple failure to follow up quickly and effectively. Not following up looks like you're not interested, or even worse, that you're unreliable. Remember, professionalism is reliability. And that prompt, professional follow-up shows you're dependable, a quality every single corporate client is looking for.
It's also super important to remember that you're almost never selling to just one person. Think about it. There's a whole team of stakeholders making this decision. You've got travel managers, you've got people in finance, HR, and even senior executives. Each one has different concerns. The travel manager cares about logistics. Finance obviously cares about the bottom line. HR might care about employee comfort and safety. A great salesperson learns to tailor their approach and speak to each of those concerns individually. All right, for our final section, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Because success in this field is a marathon, not a sprint. It absolutely requires a long-term perspective, and that perspective is built on three things: strategy, data, and a whole lot of patience.
In this long game, data is your compass. It tells you where to go. Your sales team has to be constantly reviewing account performance. And you're not just looking at room nights sold like we see here. You've got to look at the entire picture. How much are they spending on food and beverage? What's the meeting revenue? This kind of data-driven review tells you which accounts are truly profitable, where to focus your energy, and how to allocate your resources for the biggest impact.
And this brings us to that final critical piece of the puzzle: patience. You have to have it. Corporate contracts can take a really long time to get finalized. There are a lot of approval stages. And those strong, trusting relationships we talked about, they aren't built in a week. They're built over months, sometimes even years, of consistent, professional, reliable contact. Persistence really is the key that unlocks these incredibly valuable long-term partnerships.
So let's pull it all together. What are the key takeaways here? First, mastering this drives revenue across the entire hotel: rooms, meetings, and F&B. Second, it's about creating stable, long-term partnerships. Third, success depends on selling value, not just being the cheapest. Fourth, it demands a smart, data-driven strategy. And finally, everything, and I mean everything, is built on a foundation of strong professional relationships. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final question to really think about, because it gets to the very heart of everything we've covered today. Are you ready to just sell a room, or are you ready to build a partnership? Because trust me, the answer to that question will define your entire career in this industry.